Hello, I am Geran, and welcome back to Northgard. These are my first impressions of the other two DLC clans, Horse and Kraken. I've already done the Snake and Dragon in the video, which is linked at the end of the video and in the description, so go check that out if you haven't seen that already. First off, the Clan of the Horse. This again seems to have drastically different mechanics to the ordinary base game. In this case, you cannot have mines, miners or smiths, and instead you have to use your two war chiefs. The first of the 5 unique laws is metal craft, where the war chiefs mine and forge quicker. So instead of using miners, your 2 war chiefs have to do all of the mining and smithing. However, you can increase their speed. I think there's a typo in this one. Ancestral influence, relics don't use a building slot. Zones with or adjacent to an active relic gain 5% prod. Presumably that's production. In the military tree, there's Great Tower, a second upgrade for watchtowers giving 50% attack power and 50% structure. I assume that means health. So something I seem to have noticed is that upgrading is an important thing for this clan. In the trading tree, there is excavation. Each warchief mining stone or iron earns 3 lore. And finally, there is quality of life, +1 happiness per territory with an upgraded civilian building except houses. So presumably that's like production buildings and like. A little bit hard to understand, but I think that's what they're going for. Also, instead of an ordinary forge, there is Volan's Forge, which you need in order to hire your war chiefs. Villagers are also considerably quicker with 25% extra build and repair speed. I suppose they're going for the whole workhorse thing. I'm going to build Volan's Forge straight away, because that way I can get my war chiefs to kill this wolf instead of having to hire soldiers. And then I can use them to mine, and if there is no mine, I assume that means they can just drop them off at any building or don't need to drop it off at all. Here it is. So they just cost money, they don't cost iron, similar to Signy in the Snake clan. The other thing I don't tend to do is actually upgrade things, because, I don't know, mining just seems like a bit of a waste. But if they're directly connected to the war chiefs and I need to build the forge in order to get the war chiefs, then I'm much more likely to use it. So the Horse clan might work with my style. I can finally afford my first war chief. They build instantly. A gifted artisan. Etria focuses more on clan leadership and only picks up the pickaxe to let off steam. She also seems to be weaker than the ordinary war chief, but there are 2 of them. So let's see, if I assign her to this, will she just generate iron? It seems yes she does. So she doesn't need to drop it off anywhere. She doesn't, I don't think, mine as quickly as ordinary villagers would, but still. I'm going to hold off on her mining until I get excavation, so I can get lore along with it. I now know I'm against the Snake clan, because Signy is becoming stronger. I get informed about that, which is interesting to know from the other side. And now I can afford Brock. Strong and wise, Brock is happy to focus on his craft and leave politics to his sister. So the 2 of them, I think, make an interesting team, and I know I'm not very far into this, but I think I'm going to really like this clan. Horse doesn't sound as interesting as like Dragon or Kraken, but I think they really suit my playstyle, especially given their focus on upgrading and mining, which is something I don't normally do because I don't see the point of it. Whereas if there is a focus on it and I can use my war chiefs to do it, who normally just sit around doing nothing anyway, then that seems like the best of both worlds. And now I can get excavation and set these 2 mining and also get a load of lore. Plus the other bonus of this system is I don't need to use a building slot, which are quite limited, on a mine. These 2 can just go and mine stuff wherever. I'll also get metal craft, which has made me a Thane. So upgraded tools get an additional 5% production bonus. Selling stone or iron earns extra crowns. And allies receive double resources, presumably from selling to them. So I think this is quite a trading focused clan. Sorry, I keep saying civ. So they might be intended to get a trade victory. I wonder. I'm unsure about something. So this gives you... never mind. Questions answered. I was going to say this gives you lore for mining, but that makes you mine quicker, so surely that decreases the amount of lore you get, but no, it is actually increased when you get Metalcraft, which is a nice touch. They have thought this through quite a lot. This also seems like a really important upgrade to get. Carpentry Mastery reduces upgrade costs, thus meaning you get the maximum you possibly can out of the additional stone and iron you can collect. The additional lore you get from the mining really helps for a potential wisdom victory as well. I'm assuming food silos count as a civilian building. Again, it's a bit hard to actually tell what it counts, but if I upgrade that, not only will it increase food production in the area, but when I get quality of life, that should also provide an extra happiness. I'm getting Ancestral Influence now, so that the Relic I've almost finished will then be able to be placed in this section without having to free up space for it. The reason I've chosen that one is because zones adjacent to it also get the production bonus, and it's next to almost every zone I control. I've got to say, I'm really liking this clan. Now I have the Relic. Densleaf and Tierfing. Your war chiefs gain 20% attack, defense and life, and their mining and forging speed is also increased. So if I place that here, that increases these two, and also improves productivity in every adjacent zone. That is a very powerful relic. Now I get the final unique lore, Quality of Life, and immediately I gain 2 of those for upgraded buildings. Speaking of which, upgrade this one, and it should increase my happiness again. Signy's attacking me, he's running, trying to... Oh, he's using Scorched Earth, the git. The 2 of mine should be able to beat Signy. He's got 19, I've got 24. Yep, he's running. She's running. I think it is a she. Scorched Earth, burn any zone during 3 months. There should be 3 months. Minus 50 production. I like to place my towers at the very far corner from the attacking location, because they can shoot anywhere within their zone, but they get attacked as they're crossing to destroy the tower. I don't know if it makes much difference, but I think it would help. And now I've unlocked Jarl. I've got Legacy of the Earth. You discover 2 stone and 2 iron deposits in your territory, and you can build a second relic. So there's some iron, there's another, there's a stone, and there's the last stone. And part of what makes this so good is that I don't need to then go, oh crap, where am I going to put a mine? I don't need to, I've got my mobile war chiefs. Because of Legacy of the Earth, I can have a second relic, and the other relics, the default relics, seem to vary depending on what victory condition you want to go for. So in this case, I want to go for Bragaful, which will help my trade victory. And now I get the final lore upgrade, a second upgrade for watchtowers. I've built several of these, so increase that. Looks pretty good. And will defend me when I'm going for my trade victory. I've now unlocked my second relic, crowns bonus depending on your commercial influence. So I put one there. If I put this one up here, that should improve the production up here as well. I must say I'm very impressed with this clan. It has successfully made me embrace the things that I normally don't bother with, like upgrading buildings and proper defense towers and relics, which, to be honest, before this game, even with the other last 2, I didn't see the point of. But they really do seem like they're worth doing with this clan. I'm now making use of the Bragaful trade route to get a load of happiness and a load of commercial influence. So I'm going to win this match very quickly now. And to be honest, I'm ahead in everything. So I can't tell if this clan is overpowered or if it just suits my playstyle so well that I'm just dominating with it. I reckon I also had a rather good start with 2 farms and a deer right next to my starting location. And just generally, I think I've played this one better than any game I played before. As this match is coming to an end, I feel I was within reach of all 3 of these victory conditions. I'm not sure about the domination one, I played it very defensive, but if I'd gone aggressive, I probably could have won that too. So again, I don't know if it's because this Civ is overpowered, or if I just meshed very well with it. I'll leave that up to you to decide. So with that, this was a trade victory for the Horse Clan. And what is currently the final DLC clan, Clan of the Kraken. This seems to be the weirdest one. Maybe the dragon is weirder, but this seems to change the base formula quite a bit. For a start, you're heavily punished for trying to colonize or live in non-coastal tiles. You also cannot get a trade victory because you can't build a longship dock, which is like the snake one who can't get a fame victory. Because you're limited on where you can actually go, it seems you can build the fishery, which allows you to get food on any coastal tile, if I'm not mistaken. But what I think is the weirdest thing is the whole Norn thing. Only female villagers can become Norns. Nowhere else in the entire game has it made a difference whether they're male or female, and it seems silly to have what is essentially a random aesthetic difference affect the gameplay like this. They produce wryd, which allows you to do additional abilities which I don't really know anything about. The 2 fame bonuses are extra wryd, and events are now revealed long before other clans. I assume that's stuff like the rats and the Kraken attacks and the like. And then at 500, military units killed in neutral or enemy zones have a chance to become spectral warriors under your command. And their Relic gets yet more wryd, and your Norns also produce fame, so that could be leaning towards a fame victory. You now have enough wryd to cast High Tide. So let's see. Wryd. There is Shallow Waters, improve a coastal zone to accept 1 additional building. High Tide, cancel the Kraken's building and attack penalties in non-coastal zones. Road to Valhalla, consecrate one of your Norns, she becomes a Valkyrie and joins your army. And Ancient Spirit, summon 5 hostile spectral warriors in a chosen enemy coastal zone. So these are the wryd abilities that apparently you can use and that you gain by having Norns and through the fame bonuses. The 5 unique laws appear to be mostly focused in the trading tree, ironically. So there's fresh fish, fishermen produce 20% more food and their tool improvements are free, and their forging time is reduced. Endless Tide, opening the military tree, increases your military unit's attack power by 20% and reduces the cost of military units. So I'm guessing that would really help towards a domination victory. Near the Sea Spirit generates 1 crown for every 3 buildings on coastal zones. That's quite powerful. Knowledge from Beyond reveals all neutral factions and all trade routes give you extra lore. Maybe this isn't as one-sided as I thought. And finally, Foresight. Norns generate extra wryd and happiness. So, Shallow Waters. That has increased it from 5 to 6, I guess. The zone can sustain an additional building, can be accumulated with zone improvement. So that allows them to have 2 extra buildings per coastal zone, which is presumably to offset the fact that they're pretty much only allowed in coastal zones. Fishery. Train a villager to become a fisherman who can produce food. And this happens... see, there are fish along the edge here. Would they be there normally, or is that because I'm the Kraken? Here's the best way to tell whether it's counted as a coastal zone. I wasn't sure because it's got the rocks. But that I can do for 20, whereas that is 20 plus an extra 10, because that is considered non-coastal. Something that seems apparent is that this clan does very well on smaller maps. So, for example, all of these territories here are coastal. This is so far the only one I've explored that is not coastal, and that's because on a smaller map it's still an island, so there's more sea and more zones connected to the sea, whereas on a larger one there is a much larger area of land that isn't connected to the ocean, and therefore they get penalties on. My Hurga is complete, so I have my first Norn. The Norns try to elucidate the will of the Kraken, bringing foresight and good fortune to the clan. So that is generating 2 wryd and 2 happiness, which I suppose is a bit like the what are they called, Skalds from the clan of the Stag, who produce fame and happiness. This could be something. It seems most of my villagers are female. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or whether that's because I'm playing as the Kraken and they need to have female ones available to become Norns. So I've already got this one, but this one seems to be rather useful, actually, because you can't get the longship trade routes, which is how I generally get my crowns. But instead you get lore, and you get additional crowns when you trade with neutral factions. So there are some Jotun here. There aren't any kobolds on this map, apparently, but there are some Jotun here that I will be trading with in order to get my crowns. I'm also moving my healer's hut up onto this cliff to free up an extra space here, because I reckon I need this fishery. And the thing with fisheries is they can only be placed on what appears to be beaches, so any of these they won't do. I don't know if it's because there are fish here. There's no fish icon on the map here, but there is over here. See, there's fish there. Does that mean I can put a fishery here? Although the fish icon is here, it says there are no more fish that I can actually place. So I don't know what's up with that icon. See, the icon's here. I think it should be here. Yeah, by the look of it, there are just fish off the coast of every beach rather than you can fish in the ocean anywhere. I've now unlocked Thane, which gives me an extra 400 weird, and what appears to be future sight of a rat infestation that's going to happen sometime this year. So Road to Valhalla to get a Valkyrie. Wielding divine power, the Valkyries are the most powerful members of the Kraken army. Purify. Sacrifice your Valkyrie to immediately colonize an area. Wow. That's a reason to get weird, and also a way for them to work for a domination victory. It seems the Valkyrie is the same health as a war chief, higher defense but lower attack. I'm not 100% sure which is the best victory to go for. I can't do trade. I'm being beaten in fame, and that just leaves domination, wisdom, and Yggdrasil. The thing with Yggdrasil, however, you need to colonize the zone it's in, which would require me to go like 3 deep into non-coastal tiles, which is places I suffer. I'm going to use High Tide to get this one. So, I see, right. In that earlier game I saw the High Tide thing everywhere. So it's not just a way to colonize these areas, but the enemy in the earlier game was putting them everywhere, presumably in order to get rid of the attack penalties. So they sort of lay a path of High Tide before then using it to attack. Endless Tide increases your military attack and reduces the cost of military units. Not entirely sure. I guess that's just there to try and balance it as a domination clan as well. I just counted up all of my guys, and I'm fairly sure the Valkyrie doesn't actually count towards my population. That's interesting, because she definitely doesn't count towards the warband, but it's interesting that she doesn't count in the population either. The Kraken unique relic is the Edda of Vor. You gain 1,000 weird when built, and your Norns produce fame. Now I'll get the final unique lore foresight to get more weird and more happiness. I also need to remember that I can upgrade the fisherman, so I'll put him on the waiting list, so as soon as the relic's done, I will upgrade my fisherman. Oh, it seems you have a limit of 1 Valkyrie at a time. That's a shame. I was kind of hoping I could get an army of Valkyries. Now that I have this territory here, I can get another fishery, because food is becoming a bit of a problem. I'm going to use 300 weird to make this area High Tide. I like how it does change the colour of the floor, but the reason I'm doing that is because there is a chance I'll go for the Yggdrasil victory, and I'm sort of readying the path there. And High Tide on the Yggdrasil. So now I can start fighting the Valkyries, although they are much more powerful than mine. My relic is done. Edda of Vor. You gain 1,000 weird, and Norns produce fame. So I'll stick that right there. Pride of the Kraken. I can cast Ancient Spirit basically straight away. I don't think I want to just do that right off. I think I want to save that. I wasn't sure if there was a max to the weird capacity. It appears there is not, which is good. And I think I will save Ancient Spirit for when I attack next. And now that I'm a Jarl, military units killed have a chance to become Spectral Warriors, which is the perfect time to now attack. It's just a shame I lost my entire army fighting Valkyries. Typo there. Future sight reveals Earthquake. Event is coming. Time to give this a go. Can I cast it twice? I can. Alright, once there and once there. Can they not... Are they going to attack it? Or is that like a future... Oh no, yeah, they are attacking it now. I wasn't sure if it was like a... They will attack it in 6 months type deal. Killing off them quite well. They're probably going to have a harder time. They've got a defense tower. Something to note is that these aren't allied to me. They're completely hostile by the look of it. I can't control them or anything. Compared to, I think, if I capture them using the Howl of the Sea Master, it seems they become allied. I'll cast High Tide here to sort of seed that for if I decide to attack him. But I reckon I'm going to go for a Wisdom victory. I have enough wit to cast Ancient Spirit again, so I will cast that here while I attack here. Ah, and I got a Spectral Warrior. And now I have enough lore to win the game. So I probably could have got Fame, and I could definitely have got Yggdrasil given a little bit more time. Couldn't get that at all, and because I was against Horse, Domination would have been very difficult. However, I went for this one, because I've not won one of these before, so Kraken won a Wisdom victory. And those are the 4 current DLC clans for Northgard. Horse is definitely my favourite. I don't really think I clicked with Kraken. I think I began to get into the swing of it, and Snake and Dragon just don't fit my playstyle. But Horse, 100% loved it. So let me know which you like the best. Let me know if you want to see more. I really enjoy this game, and I would like to play some more. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to have your say on future first impressions, please consider pledging to my Patreon linked in the description, and I will catch you later.